So hi everyone, thanks to be here for Data-Driven Paris. So we have a very interesting agenda tonight, very tight agenda because there will be 3 presentations from 2 CEOs, 2 co-founders and 1 corporate also presenting what they're doing in AI and big data. And just to start very quickly, we're going to introduce very quickly a study we just released at Serena Capital around the amount of funding that has been done in AI and data startups. And we've been computing these numbers now for 2 years. We released the last study 1 year ago. So this is the study on the 2016 numbers. You can tell me that it's maybe a little late. We're quite advanced in 2017. So next year we try to release the study earlier in the year so you have the fresh numbers sooner, but still it's interesting to get the numbers and see what we are talking about when we talk about AI and data startups. What does that mean in terms of fundings, amount of fundings, how it's split between geographies? So I will just spend 10 minutes on that. You should have, probably all of you get the Usine Nouvelle because we're doing a partnership with Usine Nouvelle with them, so there is a full article in the Usine Nouvelle on this study. Quick introduction, I'm going to go very quickly. Usually I don't do that, but since it's part of the presentation, it's a marketing slide on Serena Capital. You all know us, we're a VC based in Paris, we're investing everywhere in Europe. We just launched AI and data fund 1 year ago. But just to tell you that today we're already more than 10 investments done in data and AI, which in fact puts us as number 1 or close to number 1 investor in Europe in this field. Okay, so the key findings of this study. The first one is on the left. It's the amount of fundraising in Europe. So as you can see here, there were $774 million invested in startups, data startups and AI startups in 2016. So an increase compared to 2015. But what's more interesting is the number of fundings and the number of startups that received the fundings. I mean, these numbers is increased quite significantly because there were 71 startups funded in 2014, 83 in 2015, and 271 in 2016. What that means, and you will see the numbers after, is that there are more and more data and AI startups looking for fundraising, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see again an increase in 2017. And what's also very interesting is we see more and more early stage and seeds and around the AI startups raising funds again and addressing a lot of different needs and a lot of different sectors. We'll see that later. I don't like this slide. And first, I was not sure I wanted to show it, but that's the reality. So UK is leading the game. France is behind. And you will see this is for the numbers, number of startups that got funded, and then we will see for the amount. So for the amount, still UK is leading the game, and France is number 2, and then we have the Nordics and the Germany. What's interesting with UK is my understanding and why UK is leading is UK has been pretty good in opening all the public data with the Open Data Initiative, and also there were a lot of initiatives around fintech. It really drove the innovation around AI and big data. And that's one of the reasons why we see this lap between UK and France and the other countries. I think that in 2017, the gap will not be as much between the different countries. And definitely, we believe that France is the right place to be if you want to start your AI and data startups. Okay, this is the interesting slide, which is the number of startups that got funding. And you can see the split in terms of amount of funding, as you can, and so 2014, 2015, 2016. As you can see, the increase in the number of investments is really for the less than $5 million round, which is seed and round A. What's interesting, and the reason for that is there are, again, as I said, more and more startups addressing more and more needs using data and AI. And our belief is with the maturity of the market, you will see all these seed and A rounds going into B round, into C round. And that's one of the reasons why we believe that numbers are going to increase drastically in the next years. So it's quite an interesting number here in terms of number of funding and the split. Then what we did is, and maybe this one is more interesting, is we try to split the startups by usage and by sectors. So as you can see on the left, it's the usual suspects. So you have sales and marketing, you have consumer insight, you have analytics. I would say that that's really the first wave of startups using data and AI. Why? It's because that's where the value proposition is more proven. That's also where the money is. And historically, that's sectors that had to use data really to bring benefits to the end users. Security is also quite a hot subject, or cybersecurity. We see a lot of initiatives around cybersecurity using AI and data to do also some predictive behavior. But what's new is on the right, all the funding going into non-technology sectors. I mean, if you pick one, for example, you have the agriculture, 22 million that was invested there. You have the health sector, where data and AI is really coming strongly, and we believe that this could really disrupt the whole sector. You have the environment, and so on. And we believe at Serena that the right part is really going to increase in the coming years, because that's where the difference is going to be. We think that's where, again, the disruption can come, and that's where new players can also establish new solutions by having a very vertical approach. Again, on the left one, it's more horizontal approach because sales, marketing, cybersecurity, analytics, you can apply it to all sectors. On the right one, you're going to have the vertical approach. And why the vertical is pretty important also at the end is you need to have access to data if you want to train your algorithm. And the challenge for startups is to have access to proprietary data on specific verticals, and these data are not the same between health, between energy, between transportation, between agriculture. So if you look at our deal flow, for example, right now we see more and more vertical startups addressing these vertical needs, leveraging vertical data that they can get from vertical corporates. Okay, last but not least, what we see also in our study is new services that come with AI and data. And these new services are not necessarily here to replace humans, but also more here to help humans to do a better job. I'm not going too much into the details, but if you go into the industry, for example, there are a lot of startups now in the visual inspection. Same for the customer service, for example. How can you automate the way call centers are answering calls and are more efficient also in answering the problems, customer problems, or doing some upselling on the product because they have all the customer information they need to do that. And that's the same also for transportation, HR, and so on. Okay, if you have any question, I can take one question. Otherwise, I really encourage you you can have access to the full study. It's published on the web. You have the article also right now. You will have in the study much more numbers also in terms of splits, in terms of geographies, in terms of sectors.